and this is Ty's I Want My MTV show.
Ty plays clarinet while also doing color guard. During her school show, I Want My MTV, she has the opportunity to do something that's never been done before in one of her school's marching band shows. Ty will play her clarinet and flip her flag in the same movement. She also has a 6-foot prop to climb within the movement. Her band director is trying to figure out where to put her pole so that it's in the center of the distance she travels. The band director wants to give her as much time as possible so that she can drop her clarinet and get on her prop and grab her flag. Ty's starting point is 11.5 feet behind the hash line. Our word problem is, as Ty is marching on the field, her distance can be represented by b equals 1/2 x squared plus x squared minus 11.5. Ty wants to know how long it will take for her to reach the top of the prop and what time in minutes she will get to her flag.
Now it's time for the algebraic work. The axis of symmetry formula is minus b equals 2a. Our quadratic formula is minus 1/2 x squared plus 6x minus 11.5. With the formula of minus b to a, you'll substitute the 6, which is the b, then you'll substitute the a, which is the negative 1/2. Doing this, you'll get negative 6 divided by negative 1, which is 6. So the axis of the symmetry is x equals 6. Going down to the vertex, you'll use the same quadratic formula, but you'll input that 6 that we just found. Input, you'll get 6 times 6, of course, because of PEMDAS, is 36, bring it down. Then you'll do 6 times 6, which is 36, bring it down again. Then you'll also bring down the negative 11.5. Multiplying the negative 1/2 with 36, you'll get minus 18, plus 36 minus 11.5. Combining the minus 11.5 with the minus 18, you'll get negative 29.5 minus 36 to get 6.5, which is the max. The y-intercept, as you know, y-intercepts have to equal 0. The x's have to equal 0. So you do input 0 for the minus 1/2 x squared, as well as the 6x minus 11.5, which equals minus 11.5. Okay, now we're going to talk about the algebraic methods. For the square root method, you have negative 1/2 times x minus 6, close parentheses, squared plus 6.5 equals 0. To start this method, you'll have to subtract 6.5, and you bring it down to get minus 1/2. Open parentheses, x minus 6 squared equals minus 6.5. To cancel out the negative 1/2, you'll multiply it by negative 2. Multiplying the whole thing by negative 2, you'll get 13, and you'll x it out, so you'll bring it down, your parentheses, with x minus 6, close parentheses, squared. To continue to solve the problem, you'll square this, you'll square the 13. Because there isn't no solution for 13, a square root of 13, you'll just do the plus minus of the square root of 13. Then you'll have x minus 6 equals the plus minus the square root of 13. You'll go ahead and add that 6, so you'll get, for the x-intercepts or zeros, x equals 6 plus minus the square root of 13. Then you'll go down to the factoring method, which is not reliable because when you multiply negative 0.5 times negative 1/2, the product is 5.75, which you can't multiply anything to equal 6.
To do the complete square method, you can follow paths. To do this, you will find a constant, which you can find by adding 11.5. Then you do a, which means that you have to multiply the entire equation by negative 2. Once you do that, the a's are alone, and you get x squared minus negative 12x equals negative 23. Next is b. To find b, you do negative 12 divided by 2, which gives you negative 6. Then negative 6 squared is a positive 36. So your equation is x squared minus 12x plus 36, which equals negative 23 plus 36. Then you will take x, and then you'll keep this sign, and then you do the square root of 36, which is 6. And you can get x minus 6. Then, for this, you add these two, which gives you 13. You will square root these both, and then you get x minus 6 equals positive or negative square root of the quadratic formula. A equals negative 1/2, b equals 6, and c equals negative 11.5. You'll substitute all of these numbers into your quadratic formula, and then you get negative 6 plus minus the square root of 36 minus 4, open parentheses, 5.75, close parentheses. That will give you a negative 6 plus or minus square root of 13 divided by 2, open parentheses, negative 1/2, close parentheses. So your final answers are negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 13 divided by negative 1, which is 6 plus or minus the square root of 13. So now we'll do the table of values. So for our tables, our x is time, and we're doing that in minutes. So we have x is 0, which is negative 11.5. Our x is 1, or negative 6. Our x is 2, or negative 1.5. Our x is 2.4, which is our first 0, and our y is 0. Our x is 3, and our y is 2. Our x is 4, and our y is 4.5. Our x is 5, and our y is 6.
For this part of the table of values, you have 6 equals y, which is a 6.5, which is the maximum slash the vertex. You'll go down, you have 7 equals 6 as a y, x8 equals y of 1.5, you have 9 as an x equals a y of 2, and then you have the second x-intercept, which is 9.6, basically 9.60555, then you have a y of 0. You'll go down to the x of 10, you'll have a y of negative 1.5, you'll go down to the x of 11, you'll have a y of negative 6, and then you'll go down to the x of 12, and you'll have a y of negative 11.5.
So, with our graph, we'll start at the y-intercept, and our order there is 0, negative 11.5. In our real-world meaning, this is when time starts with 11.5 from our natural. For our next exaggerated point, we have our first x-intercept, which is 2.40. So this means that it takes Kaya 2.4 minutes to cover clarinet down. Now take a look at our vertex. For the vertex, you have 6, 6.5, basically meaning it takes 6 minutes for Taya to get to the height of 6.5, which is the top of her prop. Going down, climbing down, you have the x-intercept of 9.60, meaning that it takes 9.6 minutes for Taya to go from the start of her point all the way up to the top of the prop and come back down to flip her flag. And now, that is Taya's I Want My MTV show.